I discovered my mother's hidden secret, and now I want nothing to do with her. Hi everyone. I'm a 15-year-old girl, and I'm going through something that has me emotionally drained. Living with my mother has become unbearable. I've always felt out of place in my own home, but what I recently discovered left me speechless. Here's my story. My relationship with my mother, a roller coaster. My mother, 52, has always been a strong-willed woman. Ever since I can remember, she's had a very dominant personality, and no control over her temper. Whenever something didn't go her way, she'd raise her voice as if yelling would make her right. Living with her felt like being in a constant battlefield, where the smallest things could set off a war. During my elementary school years, our relationship was practically non-existent. She saw me as just another responsibility, not as her daughter. But after I finished elementary school, things seemed to change. We started getting along better, or so I thought. For the first time, I felt like I could talk to her about some things. However, that peace didn't last long. Things took a turn for the worse when I started noticing my father's aggressive behavior. I vividly remember how he would lose control and lash out when I was little. It was terrifying, but whenever I tried to talk to my mom about it, she completely denied it. "You're the only one who sees it that way," she would say. I never understood why she defended him instead of protecting me. Her hurtful comments. If there's one thing my mother excels at, it's criticizing. No one is safe from her cutting remarks. My friends, strangers on the street, even me. She would say things like, "Your friend looks anorexic," "That girl is badly built," or "that one dresses like a lesbian." What hurts the most is that her criticism doesn't stop with others. I'm constantly a target too. As a child, when I was learning how to manage my natural afro hair, she would call me a water dog. Now, when I cut my hair myself, something everyone praises me for, she always finds something bad to say. The last time, she compared me to a bonsai tree, dismissing all my effort. The never-ending cycle at home. On the other hand, my father, 54, has his own issues. His excessive drinking has always been a point of contention between them. My mom constantly nags him about it, but he doesn't listen anymore. Sometimes, he doesn't even want to come home, because he knows she'll just start another fight. The problem is that after every argument with my dad, my mom takes out her frustration on me. One day it might be because I didn't put something away, another day, it's simply because she needs someone to lash out at. The last time, she yelled at me because I hadn't picked up a pillow from the couch. When I asked her to speak to me respectfully, her response was, "I'll talk to you however I want." That was the moment I felt something inside me breaking. The box in the basement. One afternoon, after one of their many arguments, I went down to the basement to be alone. While looking through some old boxes, I found one that caught my attention. It was full of photos and old papers. Among them, I found a stack of letters. My curiosity got the better of me, so I started reading. What I discovered left me frozen. The letters were from a man who wasn't my father. They were filled with romantic words, but also mentioned something I'd never heard of before: money my mother had been hiding. Without meaning to, I kept reading until I came across something that changed everything. According to these letters, this man was my biological father. My mother's double life. The letters revealed that my mother had been in a relationship with this man before marrying my father. When she got pregnant with me, he disappeared. From what I understood, he was a wealthy man who didn't want to take responsibility for a child. Instead of confronting him, my mother chose to marry my current father, who was willing to raise me as his own. What shocked me the most was discovering that my mother had been in contact with this man all these years. Although they weren't a couple anymore, he had been sending her money regularly. I couldn't believe that my mother, the same person who constantly criticized others for their lack of morals, had been living a double life. The confrontation. That night, I couldn't hold back. During dinner, I showed her the letters. At first, she tried to deny everything, but when I mentioned specific details, she had no choice but to admit it. What hurt me the most was her coldness. She didn't even seem remorseful. "You didn't need to know," was all she said. I asked her why she never told me the truth, and her response was that it wasn't relevant. It felt like the ground had been pulled out from under me. Not only had I lived a lie my whole life, but the person who was supposed to protect me had been the one to deceive me the most. How this changed my life. After that conversation, everything changed. My relationship with my mother was completely shattered. We barely speak, and when we do, it's like we're strangers. My father, who knows nothing about this, has also become distant. I can't look at him without feeling guilty for knowing something he doesn't. I've started searching for information about my biological father. So far, I haven't found much, but I'm determined to learn more about him. Not because I want a relationship with him, but because I need answers. The future. For now, my plan is simple: finish school, save as much money as I can, and leave home as soon as I turn 18. I'm determined to build a life far away from the drama and lies of my family. This experience has marked me forever, but it's also taught me an important lesson: sometimes, the people who are supposed to care for us the most are the ones who hurt us the worst. And in those moments, we have to learn to take care of ourselves.